hardship that we have, they're out lavishly spending lots of money on their meetings, on their videos for training. And then on top of that, they're scrutinizing Tea Party, Patriots, Christian and pro-Israel groups, even asking for the content of their prayers. Really? Is anyone entitled to know the content of our prayers? No! Only God!
Only God!
Hell no! God.
It's time that we do more than talk and groan and complain. I know a lot of you have been working to take back this country. Glassfire and Patriot Action Network, we work every day to try to give you a platform to be heard even when you can't show up here. These petitions right here, these boxes, represent petitions, about 140,000 that we've collected recently, on this stack of 73,000 pages of tax code. We've said we need to investigate the IRS, but we need to abolish the IRS. We need to abolish the IRS. It's time for them to go. I cannot trust them with Obamacare. I can't trust them to tax me properly. And my goodness, if I need a surgery, what's going to happen? Oh no, you're with a Patriot group. Sorry. This is what we're looking at. You know, folks, I just wanted, lots of people have given you basically the same story. We all are very upset with what's happening with our country, but I want to give you one little bit bigger tidbit than that to take home with you.
Any hope?
Get out there and take back our country using the precinct by precinct. You can take it back. Become precinct committeemen, precinct chairmen, precinct delegates, whatever it takes. That's where the power is. If you want to vote these yahoos out, you want to put the right people on the ballot, precinct is the way to do it. All politics are local, friends. They're local. We're glad you're here. Keep fighting. Don't give up, ever.
No!
We're going to keep fighting with you, and we're going to get this country under control again, aren't we?
Yeah!
So let's abolish the IRS. Let me hear it. God bless you. God bless America. And really seriously, God bless all of you patriots for working every day. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Darla. Our next speaker has a solution to some of these mounds of paper that are up here on our stage today. He's introduced a bill called Keep the IRS Off Your Health Care. Please welcome Congressman Tom Price.
Thank you. Afternoon, fellow patriots. Welcome back to your capital right here. I want to thank you for your patriotism and your incredible work. I believe in American exceptionalism, don't you? I believe that our liberty comes from God Almighty, don't you? I believe that trust in government is vital in a free society, don't you? And I believe that that trust has been violated, don't you? Nowhere is that trust more important and more violated than with the IRS. We've learned outrageous things about the IRS. The IRS targeted groups, your groups. The IRS leaked information about your donors, and then they targeted those donors. This is different than anything else because it's the government not going after Republicans or Democrats. It's the government going after just plain folks, and that's wrong. We all remember that the IRS is the enforcement arm for the ACA, for Obamacare. Do you trust the IRS with your health care? No! Do you want the IRS to know about your health care? No! Neither do I, and that's why we introduced a bill, as Jenny Beth said, H.R. 2009, and it's only 2 pages. That's all it takes. And it says that the IRS may not enforce or implement any portion of Obamacare. Of all these pages pages up here right now, we could take about 9,000 of them and just chuck them away if we just passed those 2 pages. So the IRS needs to stay out of our health care. I can't thank you enough for coming back to Washington. You know, as I know, that the price of freedom is constant vigilance, and vigilance was never more important than right now. And the most important message I want to leave with you is never give up. 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 Never give up.
Thank you, Congressman Price. I have an announcement to make. One of my support team told me there's somebody out in the audience collecting donations. That is not us. So if somebody is doing that, just know we are not collecting donations here today.
Yeah, okay, we know.
All right. So next, just want you to be aware, that's all. Just be aware. All right, our next, you want to be really fired up? Earlier, many of you were over on the other side of the Capitol. You got here earlier and you decided to go to the press conference over there. The Capitol Police were upset because you weren't here and you actually had the audacity to go to the other side of the Capitol. That is up on Breitbart.com along with a voicemail they left us. Be sure to check that out when you get home. All right, our next speaker is Congressman from Pennsylvania, Mike Kelly.
Thank you, thank you. Listen, I want to shout, I got some friends from Western Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania's District 3. Thanks for being here. You got up in the middle of the night to come here because you have the right to be here. But more importantly than that, you have the obligation to be here. We have heard far too long from far too many who have so little regard for this Constitution that you're not the right people to be defending it. Are you kidding me? Listen, the only thing I want you to remember when you leave here today, this is just the beginning. And as you go home, it is so important for you to carry that message, not just to your family, but to your friends and into your communities. We have got to unite. We have got to join hands. We have got to fight this to the very end. This is not an option. This is an obligation for this current generation. My father came from the greatest generation. He was one of 9, fought his way through a depression, fought his way through a world war. As I was traveling with him right before his death, when he was 89 years old, I said, "Dad, it was so hard. How did you get through it?" He turned and looked at me and he said, "What did you just ask me?" I said, "I asked you, how did you get through it?" And you know what his answer was? It wasn't optional. The fight we wage today continues and continues and continues because we are unique, we are Americans. Don't ever forget, we are the USA, we represent you, we work for you, and we need to reform this government for you right now and get rid of an onerous, overburdensome, arrogant group of people who continue to meddle in your lives. It's time to end it. Thank you so much and God bless you.
From Louisiana, who's been very, very patient with me today, Congressman John Fleming.
Hello, citizens. What part of government do you fear the most? IRS.
Okay.
What part of government can destroy your life and take away your business?
I only learned how to do the video.
I have a bill before Congress today.
Good job.
The name of it is Halt the IRS. It would stop. Let me hear from you. Halt the IRS. Halt the IRS. Halt the IRS. It does something very simple.
So I knew how.
It says the IRS can do no further investigations or audits of taxpayers until all of this mess has come out, until we know every single detail that's going on here. Now look, we have a problem here, folks, and the problem is, why is it we don't get this information?
What's the bill number?
I'm sorry, I don't have the bill number. It's Halt the IRS. Just Google it. Or come to fleming.house.gov.
There's no media.
Well, we're not finding out the details. Why? Because the media is not doing its job. Okay? Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Congressman Fleming. Our next congressman who's speaking is from Ohio. Please welcome Congressman Bill Johnson.
Well, hello, my fellow patriots. How are you? I am glad you're here.
They're on our side, I mean.
Welcome to your capital. Look at that building. That building belongs to you. You look around at all of these buildings. All of those buildings belong to you. After all, this is your government. Government of the people, right? Isn't that what the Constitution says? You see, we in Congress, we work for you, not the other way around. The IRS agents down the street, guess what? They work for you. And the guy that lives in the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, guess who he works for? He works for you. Here's the problem, folks. Barack Obama and his IRS have forgotten who they work for. They think that you work for them. Mr. Obama must think he's a king with the right of a royal crown to power and with the power to tax his subjects. But the Constitution says otherwise. You and I both know that that's not true. Your presence here today is a hopeful sign that Americans are not going to stand by and watch the IRS target American citizens. We're not going to stand by and watch the IRS meddle and give information about our health records to whoever they want to. And we're not going to stand by and tolerate being lied to by the White House. You see, you run this country with your vote and your voice. And while you're here this week, let your voice be heard. I'm Bill Johnson from Ohio. Glad you're here. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Congressman Johnson. By the way, the Halt the IRS bill number is H.R. 2045. Our next congressman is from Idaho. Please welcome Congressman Raul Labrador.
Good afternoon, Patriots. Thank you so much for being here today. Are you mad at the IRS today? I'm mad too. But I'm not mad because they came after you. I'm mad because they came after Americans. I'm mad because we have allowed the government to grow so big that we have leadership that tells us that they don't know what their underlings are doing. I'm mad because we have leadership here in Washington, D.C. that will come to Congress and tell us that they don't have an idea what the people under them are doing. And why is that? That's happening because both Republicans and Democrats have allowed the government to grow too big. So when you hear congressmen stand here, and when you hear congressmen in your districts tell you that they stand for the Constitution, you need to ask them, what have you done to reduce the cost and the size of government? What have you done to cut the funding of these agencies? Unless they can tell you what they have done, they don't really believe in the Constitution.
What's Beta done?
As I stand here here, the only thing I will remind you is that I was the first member of Congress that asked for Eric Holder's resignation. In the Judiciary Committee with all the lies that he had told Congress. And at the end of that grilling, he asked me, is that how you do things in Idaho or wherever you're from? And I said, yes, sir. That's how we do things in Idaho. God bless you.
Last year, as many groups around the country started getting these letters from the IRS, and Tea Party Patriots was one of the groups that did get these letters.
Oh, okay.
A legal foundation stepped up and helped some of the groups around the country directly, and they've now filed suit for 25 of those groups against the IRS. Center for Law and Justice. Please welcome Jordan Sekulow.
Not every day you get to sue the IRS, but it feels pretty good, right? I'm standing here today not just on behalf of the American Center for Law and Justice, but on behalf of our 25 clients and additional clients that will be added next week, a significant amount with a larger complaint, who were brave enough to fight this battle for years. That's why we're here today, because of all of them. They got letters in 2009 and 2010 saying, we need this, we need your donor list. We need your login and password to your website. That's coming. And yet they stuck it out and they fought. Now we know this scandal, it keeps getting worse. We get new revelations. It's unconstitutional, obviously, the targeting. But this constant blame on this rogue office in Cincinnati. And this one guy who happened to tell the investigators he was a registered Republican. And he referred one Tea Party case. One Tea Party case to Washington, D.C. Case solved?
No.
Case solved?
No.
Listen, it was a nationwide dragnet launched by IRS officials that are registered Democrats right here in Washington, D.C. at the IRS headquarters a few blocks away. And this is not American. See, it's not our heritage to target people because of their ideological, or they've got Tea Party in their name, so they're assumed political beliefs. It's not what our founding fathers fought for. It's not what our veterans fought for. And now we know. And we know when Lois Lerner answered a planted question, which she planned, by the way, with the White House Deputy Chief of Staff. But the president didn't know. Offices, folks. Yeah, Cincinnati, but 2 in California that no one's really talked about. And of course, again, the Washington IRS headquarters. We have Lois Lerner take the 5th Amendment the day after her top deputy, Holly Paz, an Ivy League law school graduate, recruited by the IRS, who gave $4,000 to the president's election campaign in 2008. We've got their signatures on our client letters. I'm sure many of our clients behind me here have seen Holly Paz or Lois Lerner. This is a nonpartisan agency. You know, our president kept saying it's independent. I can't really do anything about it. Remember that? So he put them on administrative leave, but didn't take their computer access away until last week. It's been over a month. Lois Lerner still had access to your information until the 13th. Think about that, Tea Party leaders and groups and organizations. Now, this is the same woman who personally signed the tax-exempt approval for President Obama's half-brother's 501c3 in a month. A month. And get Holly Paz, her deputy, $4,000, $4,000 to Obama's campaign. You want to tell me that's not partisan? And I love this statistic about your bureaucracy here in Washington. 40 IRS attorneys, 38 donated to Obama. We're going to fight this fight because of our clients. We've got more coming. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here today. God bless you.
Patriots who testified in front of the Ways and Means Committee. Did any of you see that?
Born free American woman.
There's one lady who wound up having a hashtag named after her. I stand with let me get it right. Pound, Tea Party Becky speaks for me. Here to tell you, Tea Party Becky speaks for me, and I'm so glad she spoke for all of us in front of Congress. Please welcome Becky Garretson.
Thank you so much. I went over my time when I spoke before Congress, so I'm going to make it really short. Life is simple. In every facet of life, trust must be established for the relationship to continue. Yeah. If you want a second date, you better behave on the first one. If you want to be a manager, you better prove that you're a good employee. Only in government do people screw up repeatedly, then deny all responsibility, and then have the gall to ask for more money and more responsibility. It's insane.
And then get a promotion.
Now, our government is planning on using the IRS to be in charge of American health care. Just weeks ago, government was caught red-handed, abusing American citizens, trampling on their rights, intimidating them into silence, and illegally seizing confidential donor information and making it public for all to see. Do you think they're worthy of our trust? No! This is outrageous behavior, and the only responsible thing to do is defund the IRS, lock the doors, and turn off the lights.
Shut them down! Shut them down!
Our Tea Party in Wetumpka, Alabama was targeted by the IRS, and I testified before Congress 2 weeks ago. Immediately after my testimony, and every day since, people from all over the country have begun offering their cheers of gratitude for saying what needed to be said. As I began reading through those thousands of emails in my inbox, I was surprised and deeply moved how many Democrats and self-described liberals wrote to me. They told me that even though we don't agree politically, they were every bit disturbed at what the IRS did as I was. Our battle is not right versus left. It's everyday American versus Washington, D.C. It's the Shire versus Mordor. And that's good news. Liberty is rooted in the American soul, and the fight to defend it is in our marrow. To be born free is a rare thing in this world. Ours is a battle worth winning, so stand tall and fight! Thank you, Tea Party Becky. Next is a congressman that John McCain likes to call a wacko bird. I think John McCain's part of the problem in the Senate. I say none of the people in this Tea Party movement are wacko birds. We're American eagles. Our next speaker is an American eagle. Please welcome Senator Ted Cruz.
Thank you. God bless the Tea Party.
God bless
Now,
Ted Cruz.
I'm a little bit confused. The New York Times told me the Tea Party was dead.
The New York Times lies!
The IRS told me the Tea Party is dead. There is nothing more encouraging than millions of Americans all across this country standing up for liberty, standing up for the free market, and standing up for the Constitution. What's happened with the IRS is an absolute outrage.
Yes, it is.
It is an abuse of power.
And it fits into the pattern of the Obama administration of abusing government power.
It's tyranny.
And then misleading the American people about it. President Obama needs to tell the truth. When Richard Nixon tried to use the IRS to target his political enemies, it was wrong.
Yep.
And when the Obama administration does it, it's still wrong. The IRS has no business asking any Americans what books you're reading.
That's right. That's right.
The IRS has no business asking any American what are the content of your prayers. I hope the answer to that question was, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. You know, the IRS designated special code words to watch out for. They were code words like Constitution, Bill of Rights, Liberty, Patriot. And you know what? God bless you. They looked for Constitution, Bill of Rights, Liberty, Patriot, and you know right what? They were right to be afraid.
Amen.
So what's the best solution? The very best solution is we need to abolish the IRS. And I've got a second idea. We need to take every one of those IRS agents and put them on our southern border. Now that's mostly a joke. But I got to admit, if you were coming over illegally and you crossed the river and saw an army of IRS agents, you'd turn around and go home.
Yeah.
Every American should be able to fill out our taxes on a postcard.
Not even all consumption.
This is about power. Why did the head of the IRS meet at the Obama White House 157 times? Why? More than any member of the cabinet. You know how many times in the same time period the head of the IRS met with President Bush? One. What on earth are you doing 157 times? Now, he had an answer. The Easter egg roll. I know it seems like the Obama administration's gone on for a long time, but I'm pretty sure we haven't had 157 Easters. Let me ask a very serious request of everyone here and everyone watching online. We know the tip of the iceberg of the IRS targeting Tea Party groups, targeting conservative groups, targeting pro-life groups, targeting pro-Israel groups. But we still don't know about individuals who've been targeted. We still don't know about those who dared to speak up, to contribute, to bundle, to participate, and the extent to which the IRS used its power to target political enemies. So we have set up an email address, and I want to invite anyone who believes you were targeted by the IRS for political activity to send an email to irstarget@cruz.senate.gov. Let me repeat that. irstarget@cruz.senate.gov. We are going to get to the bottom of this administration's abuse of power against the American citizens. one final question to ask you.
Will you run in 2016?
The final question I want to ask you. We have seen the Obama administration willing to abuse the IRS to target citizens. We've seen them willing to cover up about Benghazi. Do we trust the IRS with Obamacare and our health care? No! We need to abolish the IRS, and together we can get it done. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you for fighting against the over 1,000-page amnesty and immigration bill that's pushing its way through the U.S. Senate right now. You're going to be receiving a text message about that in just a minute if you went to our website, audittheirs.net. So watch for that next action item for you. And Senator Cruz mentioned individuals. You're about to hear from some of the individuals and more of the groups that were affected from this IRS targeting. How many of you are from Virginia today? Thank you, Virginians, for always coming to these events and standing here and representing us, especially the people on the West Coast. When we make a call to action and we only give 14 or 13 days to get here, but we do have people who are willing to be here all the way from Washington State.